Hi, my name is Lisbeth van Akker, and in Belgium we say, hallo, hoe gaat het?
Hi, my name is Michelle Hijazi, and in Pakistan we say Assalamu alaikum. We are Unit 6.
Our focus is on what problems might face American constitutional democracy in the 21st century.
Our coach is Holly Karchner, assisted by Mark Karchner.
Excellent. Well, welcome. Are you ready to go?
You're ready.
Okay. Okay, you have question number 3. Starts with a quote. Immigration policy has long been one of the most contentious and ultimately transformative issues on the American public agenda, evoking intense political struggles over how to regulate the flow of newcomers. End quote. Do you agree or disagree with this assessment by an American scholar? Why? What are the advantages and disadvantages of the United States being a nation of immigrants? What changes, if any, do you think need to be made to current United States immigration policy? Why? You may begin.
This group accepts the reality of contentiousness and political struggles concerning immigration policy in the United States. For more than 2 centuries, these issues have created argument about its impact on jobs, the economy, demography, culture, social welfare, the distribution of political power, and foreign relations. Early in our country's history, Congress felt the need to control and monitor naturalization. The first naturalization law, passed on March 26, 1790, provided procedures for granting national citizenship. This law limited naturalizations to immigrants who were free white persons of good character, which specifically excluded from the public agenda citizenship for American Indians, indentured servants, slaves, free blacks, and Asians.
In the next 10 years, this original act was changed twice, once in 1795 and again in 1798. The 1798 law increased the residency requirement to 14 years and passed under the guise of national security. But today, most historians conclude its intent was to decrease the number of anti-federalist voters. This act was repealed in 1802 when Thomas Jefferson became president. The divisiveness surrounding immigration policy continued.
Major immigration policies passed by Congress, as well as statutes passed by the states, have addressed issues of concern at the time they were created. In 1875, the Page Act labeled some immigrants as undesirable, calling Asian immigrants coolies. And in 1894, Americans opposed to undesirable immigrants from Southern and Eastern Europe formed the Immigration Restriction League, claiming immigrants were threatening what they saw as the American way of life and the high wage scale. They espoused, as many Americans do today, that immigrants were the cause of poverty and organized crime in the country.
In 1921, the Emergency Quota Act passed, limiting the number of immigrants from any country to 3% of those already in the United States from that country. An unintended consequence was an increase in illegal immigration. Many Europeans migrated to Canada or Mexico, neither of which were subject to quota restrictions, and subsequently slipped into the United States illegally, causing additional contention among those already opposed to European immigrants.
Although today disagreements continue over lenient and expanded immigration policy, many economists acknowledge significant advantages derived from immigrant populations. They report immigrants as natural entrepreneurs, establishing companies, creating jobs, and driving innovation. Studies show many immigrants are well-educated and highly trained, and are some of our most inventive and productive workers.
Most people fervently respond to such claims with perceived disadvantages, suggesting depressed wages for American citizens, and increased expenses for government services, an increased need for urbanization and social programs, a lack of homogeneity in communities, and a general decrease in commitment and loyalty to our nation.
This group suggests a moderate path of reform, which includes minor adjustments to the current work visa program, enforcement of laws requiring employers to verify the legality of their workers, a revised and simplified process for those wishing to apply for citizenship, including those who have entered the country illegally, and a renewed effort to secure our borders.
Regarding immigration, few policy areas have left a more profound mark on the development of American social, economic, political, and cultural life. Irrespective of opposition or acceptance of current immigration policies or suggested changes to those policies, America is a nation of immigrants. In the twilight of his life, George Washington proclaimed, "I had always hoped that this land might become a safe and agreeable asylum to the virtuous and persecuted part of mankind, to whatever nation they might belong.
Thank you. I have a question. You did a great job of covering the historical immigration laws and policies, but I'm curious as to, can you expand on which of those were effective and why were they ended?
One of the acts that were effective was, for example, the Chinese Exclusion Act. Because let's say immigrants from China, we stopped the import of Chinese immigrants. However, they stopped because the 14th Amendment, we have equal protection under the law, and we are not going to discriminate on one group of people to come in.
And we have great examples of acts that were passed to stop immigrants and that were not very effective, and a good example of that would be the Asiatic Barred Zone Act. And what this act did was it stopped immigrants who we considered undesirable, but not in the sense of just being Asian immigrants, but immigrants who were alcoholics, epileptics, and considered mentally insane.
And going off of what my teammates say, we see that a lot of issues surrounding immigration really involve a lot of discrimination. For example, we can look to the Chai Long v. Freeman case, where we can see that women who were being lewd and debauched were charged a $500 fee just because of the way they looked.
Yeah, let's bring it a little more contemporary. What about the 1986 Act? Was that effective?
Well, the amnesty?
Well, yeah, it did provide a path to citizenship, yeah.
I don't know if I would say it was effective, because if you can see, there have been 7 amnesties passed since 1986, and it hasn't really done anything, because if we look now, there are currently 11 to 12 million immigrants, and it's probably not the highest number we've had, so I wouldn't say it was very effective.
To add to what my teammate said, we have 12 million illegal immigrants. That's more than we have citizens in Belgium. So I would say we shouldn't give them amnesty, but we should give them some legal status, that they can work for our economy, that they can bring in money in our country.
I would have to disagree with my teammate Claudia on the disagreement with amnesty, because I believe that with the way the world sees America, they see us as protection, freedom, and escape. We are their refuge. And I mean, my family comes from Pakistan. And so over there, with the tyrannical government and the issues that they face, and to fight for survival, they come to America because it's the land of opportunity. And so because of the elongated citizenship process that we have, they should come here and they can easily start doing, and with the amnesty, it's almost just a savior.
However, we have to see that also, for example, my mom recently gained her residency, and we have to see that these people some of them are trying to abide by the rules and get their citizenship or their residency by the correct way, and then when we give them amnesty, people are breaking the law and you're giving them just a freeway, and I really don't think this land, like my teammate said, is a land of opportunity, but they should abide by the rules.
With the changing face of America, do you think that we should still have the citizenship requirement for the presidency? And why?
I hope not, because I want to become president. I think we should still have the born citizenship here, because the president is the face of the country, is the communication to other countries with foreign nations. So I think that the face of our country should be a citizen born here.
And I also believe that we would be worried about the issue of diversity in the presidency if we keep making it just solely in the United States. However, because we are a country of immigrants and we were founded on immigrants, we are already diverse, and we can have, just like President Obama today, we have our first Black president, and we won't have really an issue with expanding diversity.
I have to disagree with my teammate Lisbeth. If we look to James Madison, who stated America is indebted for her settlement to immigration, and so we can see that this nation, like my teammate Michelle stated, is born of immigrants, and I would argue that we should, while the president is the head of the country, again, America is formed out of immigrants, and we should allow them to be, because a lot of immigrants are very patriotic and they see America as their home.
Can you talk a little bit about the politics of immigration? How do the parties divide, and why do we have a stalemate?
Both parties have almost similar ideas about we mentioned in our paper, to secure our borders, to make easier work visa programs. However, they disagree on in which order we should execute those laws. Some parties say that we first have to secure our borders, and then we have to make changes in our country. Other parties say that we first have to fix the problem in our country and then others.
A lot of issue is also in whether we should change the 14th Amendment or not to better define citizenship and just solely or just saying we-ness, because some would say, no, we should pass a law because it's very sensitive to affect such a landmark amendment like the 14th.
As you can see, immigration is really a controversial issue, and there's really a big gridlock that comes with this issue. But for example, I would say that we really need to look at this as both an external and an internal issue. We can't just pass an amnesty or increase the border security. I would argue that we need to go and maybe help Mexico for a bit. We can see that their economic state is detrimental right now, and that would decrease the number of immigrants coming in, as well as decreasing or helping the immigration population in the U.S.
I would also say that with citizenship, some would say it's very inaccurate to become a citizen, because my uncle, for example, he has been trying to become a citizen for 15 years, and he is now a legal resident, and he's a professor of law at Dixie State University. He came to this country to find protection and to find refuge and freedom. And so if it's so hard to become a citizen because of the elongated process, then, and they resort to just being legal residents,
Go ahead.
they resort to just becoming legal residents instead of citizens. Did our founders want these people to just go the easy way out rather than just becoming a citizen? We should simplify the citizenship process and not making so elongated.
Thank you very much for your responses. This time we're going to share some feedback.
I thought you guys did a terrific job. You're very, very passionate about this argument and the topic, and it's good to see the passion come through, because I think it supports your positions that you make. I also liked all the examples that you used, both the historical examples and also the modern day examples. I like that you were linking the immigration discussion to some of the phobias behind it. That's really where a lot of the misconceptions about immigration comes from this innate discrimination. And so overall, I think you guys did a great job. Congratulations.
Yeah, I agree. Very nice presentation. Your opening about all the different effects of immigration is very responsive to the question about how it's been a transformative issue. Your history was excellent. I enjoyed your passion and your energy as well. I thought the discussion of amnesty was very good, showed a real understanding of the differences on those issues. So I wish we'd had time to get into discussion about the politics. We'll work on that one.
And I concur with my colleagues. In addition, great job of going through the history of naturalization law. You kept coming back to the 14th Amendment and possibly amending that 14th Amendment and explaining that. Your personal stories were very powerful and effective. And you also raised some critical thinking questions for not just us, but for the crowd here and for everyone else in the country. So I liked how you did that, raising questions for us to think about. I want to thank each one of you for the wonderful job that you've done. You've put in a lot of time and work, it's evident. And I want to thank the teacher that has put in the time, and the classmates that are in here, and the audience as well. Outstanding presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.